everyone, it's Mrs. Dempsey here to show you how to create a skimmer using the dimensions seen on this sheet. I'm going to walk you through step by step as I draw each of the different components of the skimmer build, and then in the next part we'll go through the assembly. So let's go ahead and get started by taking a file folder and we're just going to make a nice squared off piece of paper. So see how we've got like this goofy edge here? We're going to get rid of as much of this as we need to in order to create our drawing. So if you are looking at the size that we're going to need as far as like the width of our paper, it looks like we have a 1/2 inch, 3 inches, and then another 1/2 inch. So that's 4 inches. Plus another 3 inches down here. 4 plus 7, or 4 plus 3 is 7. So we need to have a minimum of 7 inches across in order to get our shape in, or all of our shapes in. So what I'm going to do to get a nice straight line across is I'm going to use my ruler to mark 8 inches. And then on the other side, same thing. 8 inches. And then I'm going to draw a horizontal line connecting those two. And that just tells me that we don't need this. Okay, this is our excess. Here, I can open this up. Okay, so we have our excess that's not needed. I'm going to close this back up though, just for the sake of having table space. And then we can go ahead and get started by drawing the main body panel. So we can see that there is a 1/2 inch, 3 inches, and then a 1/2 inch that we need to get all of this together. A 1/2 inch plus 3 inches plus a 1/2 inch added together. This is 4 inches in total. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to measure from this line down from on both ends 4 inches. 4 inches. 4 inches. We're just going to draw a nice horizontal line all the way across our page. By marking that 4 inches of space on both ends of the paper, we can see that we're going to keep that consistent 4 inches all the way across the page. Okay, so it makes it so that you're avoiding any tilts or shifts or anything. Okay, so now that we have our 4 inches all the way across, now we're going to cut off a 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch from the bottom. So we're going to use my ruler. I'm going to go from the bottom here, so it happens to work nicer for me. And sometimes it's nice to have 3 dots just to keep yourself on track. I'm going to actually draw a dotted line all the way across because I can go back and make this solid later. My ruler just wiggled a little bit. You can totally see where it wiggled. So I'm going to erase that, remeasure my 1/2 inch. reset my ruler just to make sure we've got that consistent 1/2 inch. There we go, that's better. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing on the top. Measure a 1/2 inch down. And get it in a few different places. Take my ruler. This time I'm gonna twist my paper just because it feels a little bit more natural for me to be able to do it that way. Line it up. I'm gonna draw in that dotted line all the way across. Oh, that feels much better. Okay, so now we've got basically most of the main body panel drawn out, like the gist of it. Now it's a matter of getting our like full length of it measured out. So we've got 11 inches from one end to the other. Looks like my paper is like 11.5 inches. So I'm going to actually go, it looks like this side of my paper is a little bit more clean because there's that little dip here. So we're going to measure 11 inches from this edge down here. We're going to measure 11 inches in the middle to here. And then 11 inches on the other end. Take my ruler, line up my dots, and we can go ahead and cross this part off. That's excess that we'll cut off later. Okay, so now we have 4 inches this way. We have 11 inches this way. Now all that we have to do is figure out where our solid line is going to start and where we're going to have that vertical dotted line. Okay, so according to this, we need to have 3 inches from one end towards the middle of solid line. So we'll measure that in. Here's 3 inches right here. Mark it with my pencil. And I'm going to just trace over that dotted line, make it solid. I'm going to do the same thing up at the top. Measure my 3 inches, mark it, and trace over that dotted line. Make sure that we are nice and straight. 3.5 inches, 4 to the 1/2 inch. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to take a dotted line and go from dotted line to dotted line. All right, so now we have our main body panel drawn completely. Moving on, we've got our fins and then our air scoop. So our fins are going to be 3 inches tall, 3 inches across each. I'm going to create these actually at the same time. So we're going to measure 3 inches down. From the line that was the bottom of our main body. And actually, our air scoop is also 3 inches, so I'm just going to draw this line all the way across. Okay, that looks a little bit crooked. Oh, no, that is 3 inches. And so is that. So we're good with that. Okay. So now we're going to go at our 3-inch mark, 3 inches down. So we're just going to go 3 inches, 3 inches. We'll start from the edge, go 3 inches in. Go to here and mark over here. Okay, so that's 6 inches from our edge is where we're going to draw our vertical line up. And we're going to connect it. In the center, we're going to go up 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going to go up 1/2 inch. From the tops, we're going to go 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And then we are going to create essentially a triangle. Like so. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our 2 fins. 1, 2. This is excess that we will eventually cut off. And then all we have left is our air scoop. So this one is a little bit tricky because we've got to get different, well, we've got our angles right on either side. So we're going to cut over just a little bit and we're going to measure our 3 inches, making sure that we've just got space on either end. I'm going to go 3 inches from there to there. And then we're going to go vertically. Oh, I should probably measure over. Okay, this was just a little bit less than 1 inch. I did 15/16 of an inch where I made my dot. So I'm going to get that same distance on the top so that I can get my straight line in. And it is dotted. We're going to do the same type of thing on the other end. Let's see. Yep, 1/16 of an inch shy of 4. I'm going to do that on the top there. Make our dotted line. All right, and then all that's left is to get in our little angles, our little folded edge of the air scoops. So on the bottom, it's over 3/8 of an inch. So here's 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch is going to be right here. So we're going to line that up with our inch mark. I'm going to actually do both at the same time, like so, marking over 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, up top 1/8 of an inch, and then 1/8 of an inch, just external to my dotted line. We're going to connect these 2 dots with our ruler, and these will be solid lines. All right, we can cross this area out, cross this area out. These will be cut out. We've got our air scoop, which is that goofy trapezoid shape. We've got our 2 fins and our main body panel. So we have our original sketch created from our blueprints.